Hi everyone, so today we have a new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to talk about fresh release from ICM, and it comes in 135 scale. So here you can see it's a Unimog S404 in 135 scale. It's a quite interesting thing to assemble, and this time we get a radio track, so it's notable by these antennas which are visible on the box art. And we have a commercial sample, so it means this kit is exactly the same as what you will get in any good model shop. For example, it should be already available in Modelimex as far as I know. So the kit number is 35137, and you can see that the box art is quite nice. Here is comparison with my hand, so it's not that huge box, and by the way it's quite thin, as you can see. And by the way, also here you can see the short history note about the Rio track and also some information about the kit. So we have 138 millimeters height and 151 millimeters length, and here it's written that we have 314 parts, which is quite impressive for just a truck in 135 scale. Here on the opposite side you'll also find two marking options. So those ones are definitely included, but I hope there will be more, because usually ICM also surprises us with some additional bonuses. So box is closed with help of these stickers, and I'm going to cut through them in order to open the box, and it means to remove the top lid, which is color printed. In the meantime, I can also remind you that this is already, I think, 4th version of this truck, and you can find other previous releases on our YouTube channel as well. They were also quite nice, so I definitely recommend to check them. And the kit itself is relatively fresh. It's a new tool thing from ICM. It's not a rebox of something old, and that's really cool because they made it with help of modern technologies, and it's visible, and you will also notice it once we will be checking everything together. So, okay, finally I cut through the stickers. Just give me a second, I will remove this top lid. As you can see, it's a bit of a tight fitment, that's why I have to do it in this vertical alignment, let's say. And here's what we have inside. So if I open this box, we have assembly manual on the top, and we have all of the frames packed into the same plastic bag. So of course we put the assembly manual on the bottom, because we will start with this plastic bag which carries all of the necessary parts for assembly of your Unimog in 135 scale. It's usually a resealable plastic bag, so it should be quite quick to open. Here you just take out this flap and you're good to go. Okay, so we are going to start with the rear parts. These ones are for the rear box, and here maybe I'll zoom in so that you can see what we are talking about. So overall quality looks quite fine. I don't see any possible problems here. Maybe that the hatches are pre-molded here, but this is something what you would expect from such kit. I can also bet that there is no interior included here, so if you would like to have some internals, and they might be visible through these windows, so it's definitely something you have to scratch build yourself, because it's not supplied by manufacturer. And here, if I flip it over, inside you can see only the marks from the push pins, and that's pretty much all. But we have some guiding elements. These tabs will help you with overall alignment, so I don't think it will be problematic to get them together. But again, for the interior you have to assemble it yourself. Okay, next we continue with the sprue C2. And here I would say we have more of a universal set of parts. I just need to zoom out a bit so that you can understand what I'm talking about. So these are the parts for the external elements of the truck. We have various chassis bars, we also have the holders for the fuel jerry cans, and everything looks fine. You just have to be careful with the thin parts, and maybe in some cases it might be also a good idea to consider their replacement with the metal wire, because it's possible to replace, for example, these bars, and maybe you can also copy some bendings with help of using the metal wire instead. But as you can see, the molding quality is clean, and this is definitely something to appreciate in such kit. Next, we continue with the sprue A. Here it is. So here we have this soft top roof. Also we have the engine and gearbox, we have the fuel tank, we have also the chassis bars here and the wheel axles, and also some parts, side panels, let's say, of the roof. And this is actually the separate bonnet panel. And maybe I can zoom in even closer so that you can understand what I'm talking about. Now, the separate bonnet panel hints that you can open and expose the engine, and as for the engine we have quite nice pre-molded features, so it would be a shame to hide it inside the model. Maybe it's worth to think how to expose it on your assembled model without completely changing the look of your build. And of course it's also a good thing to use in diorama projects. It just gives you more opportunities to employ with this model. And by the way, here you can see the windscreen frame. Okay. Next, we continue with the sprue B. Here we have the front mask, and I guess it's not necessary to remind you which manufacturer was producing the Unimog. That's why we have this 3-point star. And also we have the wheel fenders, we have the front cab floor, seat parts, exhaust tube, which is molded as a single piece part, and maybe it's worth checking it closer. So if I zoom in here, you can take a closer look, and that's the front mask I was talking about. Also nicely looking part, and I think it's a great add-on for this model. And by the way, it's surprisingly good looking, because some others might say that this is something you would be able to replicate only with PE parts, but as you can see, it looks very nice for the out-of-the-box thing you get in the standard package. Okay, next we have the clear plastic sprue. So here, again, resealable plastic bag. I will just open it. But that's really cool that they pack the clear parts in the separate bags. It means they will not arrive to you scratched or damaged somehow, and also ensures that all parts look, as you can see, as a real glass. I also hope that we will get the masking templates, because this will make your life easier and it will provide you with a nice paint finish without wasting your time on additional actions of cutting the masks. Okay, next we have the wheel parts. So here we have the wheel rims, and yes, this hints on the separate vinyl tires. I'm actually opening them right now. They are provided in the separate plastic bag, as you can see. These are typical vinyl parts, so in case you would like to have better details, better features on your vehicle, then definitely go with the resin aftermarket. And as far as I know, there are some, let's say, alternatives available, so you'll definitely find them. But here you can take a look at the vinyl tire. So I wouldn't say it's really bad. As you can see, we have really nice pattern here, but we do not have any features on the tire walls, and that's what actually makes the difference. We do not have the weight effect here, so it looks just a rubber tire, and that's pretty much all. Okay. Next we have the sprue D. So here I have to place it like that. Maybe let's center it a bit and zoom out. Okay, now you can see that here we have a mix of various parts. For example, we have two versions of the side view mirrors. We have the steering wheel, we have some suspension parts, front and rear bumpers, the special chassis for the passenger and driver seat, some external equipment for the engine, even the headlamps cages are provided here. So everything looks fine. And maybe just to give you an idea of the size of this part, so for example, these headlight cages here, you can see comparison with my fingertip, they're not huge. And in some cases you will have to use tweezers. It won't be possible to place it with the bare fingers. So definitely remember this small fact, because it will ease your life if you have the right tools available. Okay. One more sprue, and it's actually the last gray plastic sprue. I was just checking what we actually get here. And those are the panels for the rear section, but as you can see, the roof panel will not be employed in today's version because we actually get the new one for the radio version, and that one featured the special slots for the antennas. And in the meantime, I'm also opening the second clear plastic bag with the transparent parts. So let's place this sprue to the side. And that's the clear sprue. As you can see, those are parts for the front cap, and overall molding quality looks great. And again, as I said, I hope that there will be some mask templates provided because those parts really deserve the careful paint work. And here we have the assembly manual. So maybe I should zoom out, close the lenses a bit. But if we open the manual, here we also have the decal sheet. So let's take it out. Here you can see that we have the set of symbols for the two marking options which we saw on the side. We also have here the dials for the front cap. So overall printing quality looks really great. But maybe with some due diligence you can replicate this with the masks, but it will be your choice whether you would like to go this way. Okay, and the assembly manual. So here we have a standard color printed brochure. We have short history note on the first page or cover if you prefer, and also the colors chart here. Next, if we open this page, here we have the parts map. Obviously the red color means that those parts will not be used. And as you can see, there are not that many of them, but still you have to pay attention in order to use the right ones. This will ensure the proper build. By the way, here we continue with the parts map and more parts which are unused. Okay, so assembly process starts with the main chassis. As you can see, we also start assembling various cylinders which will be placed in between the bars. So it might be worth also to think through how to paint your model, because it will speed up the overall process than later trying to brush it or maybe carefully paint and mask it, and etc, etc. So definitely try to plan everything in advance, especially considering the fact that here we get the nicely detailed engine. So this thing might also benefit from additional wiring, which is not included into the kit. Next we continue with the exhaust. We install the fuel tanks, which are assembled out of two hulls, wheel axles, storage boxes, and next here we start working on the various linkages. I think I skipped one. No? Okay, I thought I skipped one page because of the thickness of the pages, but here you can see a lot of thin parts for the suspension going into the place, so be careful with this. Definitely try to use maybe the plastic cutter, the sharp one, in order to get the precise cut. And by the way, here you can see the wheel assembly, so maybe the usage of the vinyl tires, it makes it easier to paint the wheel rims, but well, I think some resin wheels are supplied with the masks, so it's definitely not a huge advantage. So as a result of all the steps, on the step number 46 we get this chassis assembled with the wheels, and then we start working on the front cap. So here we start with the floor. As you can see, the pedals are even copied. Of course it's a manual gearbox, so that's why we have 3 pedals. Here we have the front mask in place, and then we install the bonnet panel. And here we have the dashboard. We install the cap onto the chassis, and then only then we have this bonnet panel, which is separate. As you can see here, manufacturer suggests to assemble it in a closed position, but well, we have it as a separate part, so it would be a shame to close it. Definitely consider at least possibility to leave it unglued so that you can open it to expose the engine inside. Next we continue with the seats. Here we have the front windscreen, and also the roof gets assembled. Well, with the roof we have quite tricky situation because it's a soft roof, but it is assembled out of several sections. So definitely try to make the joints or the connection between the separate panels smooth and natural looking, so that it won't be looking as assembly out of 3 parts, obviously. And then we start finally working on the rear section. So here, as you can see, you have to drill some holes. Do not forget about it, because it will be necessary for installation of the external equipment. And there is no interior, as I said before. Here we install it onto the chassis. Then we continue with another stowage box, one more, and all of this stuff goes under the vehicle together with this jerry can holder. Spare wheel is also placed there. Then we start working on the front mask again. We add in the headlamps, lenses, and also the windscreen wipers, and we can choose between two types of the side view mirrors, as you remember, so definitely check your references. Here we have this antenna on the rear side, and here we can also install the antenna poles, or we can use the special flush covers without antenna poles. So here we have the first marking option. This one is from 1970s, and yeah, we have more markings. So here you can see the second one from 1970s in Germany, another one again Germany but 1985, and it's in camouflage, so might be interesting for some of you. And one more, so 4 marking options in total, and this one is from 1991, the latest, I would say, the most fresh vehicle out of 4. Okay, so overall we get a really nice release from ICM. I would say it's as good as the previous Unimogs from the same brand. Of course, if you have something to say, write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, press the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye.